Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Sean. I've been gone for about 2 weeks, and I can't tell you the great things that I found over the last 2 weeks. I'm going to show you. So, last week was my birthday, and the week before, and during that week, I have found more books than I could ever possibly imagine. Anyway, I thought I'd give you the highlights because this is like the third time I tried taping this video. So let me get started. There was a con by my house. It's mini con, maybe 6 or 7 dealers, but one of the dealers always comes there, and he's got this whole maybe 60, 70 boxes where everything is basically 50 cents if you buy beyond a certain point. And he has random books mixed in there. So I went through his books, and this is what I picked up. Red Lantern 0, Wonder Woman 0, Deathstroke 0, Batman the Dark Knight 0, Batgirl 0, a brand new copy of On Guard We Stand. Good series. This was in there. This is the second appearance of Warlock, I do believe, by Bill Sienkiewicz. All New Wolverine #1. And then I found some of these. So Captain Marvel #14, first, I guess, cameo appearance or first appearance of Kamala Khan. Inhumans #1, first Lash. If you guys watch the Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he was a character this year. That was awesome. So from that dealer, that was all I found at his table. But I also found this at another dealer. Well, I was pretty stoked for it. That's a beautiful copy. And it's, I think, the first Mirror Master, Edwin Lansky. But look at that bad boy. Not on my list, and I do have a few on my list that I want to show you today. That is a good-looking copy of Amazing Spider-Man. So this week, we had over at Tim's Corner in Rock Island, we had a sale, and everything inside the store is 50% off. Everything outside was 3 for $1. So this was 50% off. I picked up another copy of Alpha Flight #1. It was only like $4, but it's in really good shape. Crisis on Infinite Earth #12. This completes like my second set of the run. Also, Anti-Monitors on it. I just love that cover. I know it's been cover swiped. I think I paid, $4.50 for it. And then I got this for $8, which I needed. And it's in really pretty good shape. Let's say BF minus. But The Death of the Flash. Always loved this one when I was a kid. Then the next book that I got is one that was on my list that I wanted as a Holy Grail. So I got myself a copy, but I picked up the Fantastic Four #48, Silver Surfer. This was another book that I worked out in the deal, and it's probably in VG shape. But look at that bad boy. Marvel Superheroes #12. First Captain Marvel. And the story's actually not too bad. It's cheesy 67, storyline, but it's awesome, and it's got the Black Panther, the Destroyer, Captain America, the Human Torch, and Submariner in it too. And it's a big square bound, so you can see the side of it. And I was pretty jacked about that. And then he also had in his 4 for $1 set, he had a set of the Gambits, which I just thought was kind of neat. I've never owned this series, so when you're paying $1.33 for the entire series, that's supposed to cost $10. That's awesome. So if that wasn't enough, I was jacked. It was first my birthday. We're going to C2E2 next week, and I found a really nice copy of Spectacular Spider-Man #1. I saw a dealer last week of February. They have sorry about that. Last week of February, they have this huge flea market out at the Davenport Fairgrounds. And I'm probably giving away one of my honey holes, but anybody that lives in the Iowa area, there's a guy there from Maquoketa. He was selling a bunch of books. So I met with him twice, and we are working out a deal for his entire collection. So let me just tell you how it started. So there's this lady at one of the booths that was selling a bunch of books. She said, the more you bought, the better of a deal I gave you, and everything is 50% off. I'm like, all right. The only reason I picked this up is because I've never owned this. This is the second, this is the copy reprint by Modern Comics from '78, I believe, of the first Blue Beetle. And the only reason I picked it up is because I'm a huge Blue Beetle fan, and it's Steve Ditko art. So this was like $3 or $4. I'm like, yeah, you know what? I'll take a reader copy, a placeholder. That's not so bad. She had this for $1 for Sleepwalker. I'm like, okay, not so bad. And then she had this in her book, her thing for like $1 too. So this is Commandi #1. So I'm like, all right, well, you know, $6 well spent. I could use another copy of this anyway. Every time I see this, I seem to pick it up, and it's in rough shape. It's probably in good shape. So I'm walking around, and there's another table, and this guy's got a box of comic books. And the first thing I go through his box and look at, there's 2 short boxes, and they're bagged and boarded. So I'm like, okay. I see Long Shot #1. Not a huge deal, but I don't have the set. And he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, and this one in there. So I'm like, I picked that one up. And then he also had, I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, a Punisher run. Not just 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, but he had the whole set. And I'm like, okay, that is super sweet. So we walked up and talked about price. And he had this at his table. He had a king-size annual X-Men. I just like this cover. It's a Frank Miller cover, and it's an early, I think it's George Perez. Yeah, it's George Perez art inside. So it's Perez on the X-Men. This is when it was hard to tell Byrne and Perez's artwork apart because they're so detailed and so cool. But he also had this as a first printing. And I'm like, okay, so now I'm peaked. I'm psyched. What do you want for this? So he wanted like $150 for the entire set. And I'm like, no. So I talked him down to about $50 for the whole thing. I'm like, done. I could use another Punisher #1. I needed like the #4 to complete my second set. I just bought it, but then he started telling me that he wanted to move to Louisiana, where I just came from, and that he was trying to sell his whole collection. He had 5,000 books. They're all from the 80s and early 90s, and I'm like, yeah, right, whatever. He says, I live in Maquoketa. So I said, all right, well, I'll tell you what. Let's go take a look at what you got. So on Wednesday, before my birthday, March 2nd, I went up to his house, and he said, be careful because it's almost like hoarding. I'm like, all right, here we go. So I go in, and I took a look, and I crap you not, there must have been 5,000 books, all unbagged and boarded, laying in piles down this basement, his mom's basement, by the way, all over a pool table, his room, everywhere. Well, he wanted to price everything out before we made a negotiation deal for everything, and he had a lot of keys from the Copper Age, and some early Silver Age stuff too. That was pretty sweet. So we talked, and I negotiated a price for the next 3 books, and he has got more there that I hopefully will go back and get. But for $150, I picked this up. Amazing Spider-Man, 300. And it's in great shape. Then I picked this up. Gambit #266, first appearance. But the big one that I got there, oh yeah. They're all in great shape. I would say this is probably the one that's in the best shape. And it's also a newsstand. And I'm wondering if I should get this slabbed. Anyway, when we go to C2E2, I'm going to probably get Fabian Isaiah to sign it. Or Isaiah, however you say his name. He's a nice guy, from what I understand. Liefeld was supposed to be there, but he apparently canceled. Boo. But anyway, I don't think you can get better than that. And he has a ton more books. Apocalypse, first appearance, his first cameo, the black suit, first Spider-Man, Secret Wars run. So hopefully we can work a deal out, and I can get all those books. If not, I'm going to send them over to Tim's Corner so that Tim can have a crack at it. But anyway, I thought it was a fair price. I didn't realize how expensive this book has gone. So anyway, that's my top 3 big books. None of them were really, except for The Amazing Spider-Man, was on my hit list. And then Off the Grail, so we can check that one off. We can also check this one off. So that's been a pretty amazing weekend. So I will get video from the C2E2, and I should have that posted that day. I'm going 2 days out there up to Chicago, and then we're going to Giordano's for some really good Chicago-style pizza, and hopefully it'll just be a good time. So I hope you guys are having a great weekend, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.